It's impossible to talk about Claudia without mentioning her predecessor. Even the Book of Lost Memories compares Dahlia and Claudia on multiple points. Their names even sound similar, but the origins are very different. Dahlia is a flower, something elegant and beautiful, which is opposed to the true nature of her person. Claudia, however, has its origins in the Latin name Claudius, meaning crippled or lame. It was a Roman family of some esteem, though no one knows why it was named for the concept of disability. While our modern understanding of disability is far more empathetic and complex, the name essentially implies something is wrong with Claudia. Her last name, Wolf, is a German name, obviously referencing the wild animal, a predator, a pack animal, implying that she is dangerous. It also connects to her actions in the game. She is part of the cult's church and believes what they believe, but she also goes her own way, leaving the pack, essentially a lone wolf. Dahlia had a very unique look as a priestess of the order, something wild and off-putting. Claudia is far more severe and subtle. She doesn't look like a member of any particular religious order, though multiple pieces of concept art originally featured more obvious religious imagery. Her look is uniquely her, and it's very practical, with no origin in any faith, because she forms her own faith in her own god, the god she nurtures in Heather. One major design point is the lack of eyebrows, something off-putting but not immediately obvious, giving the player a sense as something is wrong without knowing what. It also makes her very hard to read or understand. In Silent Hill 1, Dahlia was someone we had to trust to move forward, and we weren't always sure she was telling the truth. In a similar vein, Claudia is hard to read, and hard to know what her true intentions are. It turns out that this time, Claudia is being straightforward. She believes what she says and ultimately dies by it. She's barefoot, another feature she shares with Dahlia, a visual association with magic and nature. The lack of barrier between her and the ground gives her a witchy feeling, as if she is more natural, more connected to the world and its power. And Claudia certainly has power. Multiple characters and notes refer to it, though they are often vague in describing it. The Book of Lost Memories says that it was Claudia's power that turned a member of the Order into the missionary, the monster that kills Harry. It also says that Leonard Wolf, her father, may have been transformed into a monster due to the otherworld being influenced by how Claudia saw her father. The two had a very rocky relationship, to say the least. Vincent tells us Claudia's father was abusive. Beyond indoctrination into a dark religion, he was also physically and emotionally harmful. Still, Claudia seems to have once had respect for her father and his faith. She wrote in her diary she appreciated a religious text her father gave her, and wanted to thank him. But by the time we meet Claudia, she seems to have broken off with her father, though she may have been upset about his death. She seems to almost say so in one cutscene before cutting herself off, also implying she knew he had been killed, without having been present. We see her bedroom in Silent Hill 3. It's minimalistic and lacks all technology. There's a candle, a bookshelf, a diary, and a birthday card given to her by Alessa when they were children. This is just one sign of how tightly Claudia clings to Alessa's memory. She writes about her in her diary that she didn't believe Alessa had really died, and was hoping for her return. This tragic desire led her down the rabbit hole that led to summoning God. She also writes in her diary about reading a book of how to bring about paradise that was too cruel. It's an interesting and ambiguous line. Claudia is one of 3 children to have been intensely focused upon by the cult. Alessa was one. The cult tried to use her to summon God, but she foiled their plan. For 7 years, they held vigil over her body, while also trying to find other ways to summon God. A note in Silent Hill 4 implies that Dahlia was keeping watch over Walter and was the one to tell him his mother was room 302. The cult led him towards the 21 Sacraments, perhaps as a backup plan for summoning God. Claudia clearly has power. It's unlikely the cult wouldn't have noticed and tried to take advantage. Is it possible they tried to show her the 21 Sacraments, and that is the spell she considered too cruel to use? Still, Claudia does commit multiple crimes and murders to bring about paradise her way. She kills Harry, who arguably she may have seen as a villain who kidnapped and brainwashed her best friend. In a sad twist of fate, she projects her own life onto Heather. Still, she clearly realizes she's done wrong. She doesn't believe she will enter paradise, but wants to bring it about for everyone else. A desire she's had from childhood, when she wrote in her diary about the sorrows of the world. She also attacks Douglas, possibly with magic. A scene with the two of them ends with Douglas pointing his gun at her, and next we see him, he's injured with a broken leg. Did Claudia do this with her psychic powers or magic spells? Just how much is she capable of that we never see? She can certainly control the other world. She summons it to the shopping mall, a place far outside Silent Hill with no darkness to naturally summon the other world. She also happens to share a name with the White Claudia plant that is used to create PTV, which may have been involved in the cult's rituals. Did this magic plant have some part in her powers? In the Book of Lost Memories, Claudia is referred to as the High Priestess. This card in the tarot is one of powerful feminine magic with multiple religious symbols. The two pillars represent the pillars of the Temple of Solomon, the positive and negative life forces of the universe. The crescent moon at her feet is a symbol of magic, especially associated with the feminine, as magic and women have long been connected in European tradition. On her crown is the symbol of the full moon. She represents the pagan virgin goddess of magic and night, the Artemis and Hecate, tied together with imagery from the post-pagan world. It is telling that this is Claudia's card. It emphasizes her magic power, her goddess-like abilities, and her holy aspect as a priestess. Claudia is a tragic figure. Alongside Vincent, she represents the evils of religious dogma and brainwashing. Both have been negatively affected by their youth, transformed into monsters. Vincent, while he rejects the cult's ideas of pain as the road to paradise, has become so detached as a result of his childhood that he has no empathy for anyone. He is so turned off the idea of faith and the spiritual that he cares only for the physical, the literal, what he can touch. It has made him a selfish, manipulative person, looking only to survive. The opposite has happened to Claudia. She is amazingly empathetic. Her abusive childhood, losing her only friend, and learning about the horrors of other people's pains have led her to truly and deeply care about making the world better. But she has become so completely wrapped in the Order's dogma, she doesn't realize they are the origin of her suffering. She can't see that she is doing exactly what was done to her, forcing her beliefs on others, hurting and killing those who disagree with her. She does it in the name of saving the world, but it doesn't change the outcome. She has become her father in all but name. When she takes her own life in the name of summoning God, the creature is transformed into what Claudia believed God to be, a figure that greatly resembles Alessa, although half-formed and necrotic. The tragic truth is that this is what Claudia has been searching for all along. Not God, not paradise, but Alessa, the one friend who ever truly cared about her.